I would like to use the opportunity to appeal to the public to remain calm in the face of this most recent development and to implement all the advisories related to personal hygiene, social distancing, and overall infection prevention control.
Government is taking firm measures to prevent, detect, control, treat, and contain the virus. We have a roundup of the approach being taken, plus a closer look at the impact of human trafficking. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson.
Reduce your risk of viral illnesses like the flu and coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing with a tissue and dispose of it. Avoid close contact with anyone with a cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or the nearest health center and share your travel history. The flu and coronavirus can kill. Let's protect each other. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, March 12. Government has announced a ban on all public gatherings for the next 14 days as it works to ensure there is no community spread of COVID-19 in the country. During an emergency press conference yesterday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced that there would be no permits issued for public gatherings over the next 14 days, and those that had already been granted would be revoked.
However, that is just a part of the problem. There are still private entities, businesses that are having meetings, weddings and funerals and Sunday morning church service. We're asking the public, and this is where responsibility comes in, personal responsibility. In these gatherings and events, we ask that you follow the protocols that have been established for personal care and hygiene.
The Prime Minister's announcement followed confirmation that the country recorded its second imported case of COVID-19 on Wednesday. In another move to limit the spread of the novel coronavirus, government is actively reviewing travel restrictions for the United Kingdom. This as both of Jamaica's cases were imported by persons traveling from the UK. In the meantime, persons who arrived in the island on flight BA 2263 on March 4 are being asked to get in contact with the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Persons may call the ministry toll-free at 888-1-LOVE, that's 888-663-5683. This is part of government's attempts to trace all persons who might have been in contact with the first person who tested positive to prevent or mitigate community spread of the virus.
We, by virtue of the flight manifest, we will be seeking to make contact. Now we know that not all information given could be accurate. Some people may have made a mistake in their address and we can't reach out to them or find them. So it is important that they self-identify.
In addition, the Prime Minister has also reiterated that there will be no non-essential travel for government officials. He adds that direct special measures will be enforced to retrieve information from persons coming in the island from countries that are highly affected by COVID-19. Minister of Transport and Mining Robert Montego is urging the operators of public transport vehicles to employ some prescribed safety practices to protect themselves, their families, and their passengers. The minister met with members of the National Council of Taxi Associations on Tuesday to discuss these measures. Coming out of those discussions, operators are encouraged to employ the following practices in their day-to-day movements of people and goods. Sanitize door handles and window controls after each trip, wear gloves and other personal protective gear, frequently wash hands thoroughly with soap and water, and have an alcohol-based hand sanitizer on hand at all times. Other measures include encouraging passengers to cover nose and mouths when coughing and sneezing, allowing proper ventilation in vehicles, limiting physical contact with the public, and carrying spray sanitizers, disinfecting wipes, and other disinfectants within the vehicle. Operators are also urged to stay home if they are sick. Minister Montego says it is important for operators and commuters to be vigilant, as public transportation has the potential to be one of the major sources for transfer of the virus. He is discouraging non-essential travel. In the meantime, this year's staging of the ISSA Boys and Girls Athletic Championships has been cancelled as a safety measure to ensure there is no community spread of COVID-19. The decision was taken yesterday following a meeting involving officials from the Intersecondary School Sports Association, the Ministry of Health, and title sponsor Grace Kennedy. At the same time, a decision was also taken that Jamaican schools will not be participating in this year's staging of the Penn Relay's track and field competition in the United States.
The formula for defeating this virus in the shortest possible time is to reduce the risk of human-to-human transmission. That's really what it's about. So the more you congregate, the more you spread. The less you congregate, the harder it is for the virus to spread.
Penn Relays is the largest relay meet in the world, and the three-day event annually draws over 15,000 athletes and 110,000 spectators. And finally, in other news, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is seeking the public's assistance in locating 22-year-old Jasmine Dean, who has been missing since February 27. The visually impaired Dean is a student of the University of the West Indies Mona campus.
I am personally hurt by this. To think that something terrible could have befallen her, and we pray to God that that is not the case. We hope that some mercy could reach the hearts of those who have her in their captive, if that is the case, to release her. The entire Jamaica is praying for her safe return.
Jasmine Dean was last seen in Papine St. Andrew, dressed in blue jeans and a white blouse. Dean is of brown complexion, slim build, and about 4 feet 6 inches tall. Anyone knowing of her whereabouts is being asked to contact 119 or the nearest police station. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Protect yourself from the flu virus. Visit your nearest health center or doctor to get the flu vaccine. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water or by using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid the spread of germs by not touching your eyes, mouth, or nose. And be sure to regularly disinfect surfaces and objects that are used often. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
Jamaica confirmed one imported case of the novel coronavirus on March 10, activating other areas of the government's COVID-19 Comprehensive Response Plan. Here's a recap.
The greatest weapon in the fight against the spread of this disease is accurate information. That is the greatest weapon. And therefore, the government is establishing itself as the source of accurate information. So, the government of Jamaica is now confirming the second imported case. It is a second case, but the second case is also an imported case of COVID-19. And this second case is a non-Jamaican who is also connected by travel from London. Having said that, the cabinet spent an extensive period of time discussing travel restrictions relating to the United Kingdom. The government is actively reviewing the extent of travel restrictions related to the United Kingdom. Cabinet has approved protocols for the closure of schools where the law requires the granting of a permit for any event or gathering. No permit will be issued within the next 14 days. Permits that are already issued will be rescinded, revoked. Effectively, we are placing a ban on those forms of gatherings.
In terms of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, we continue to track the situation on a daily basis. The government has signaled its absolute commitment in terms of resource allocation and expenditure to ready our public health system to deal with the consequences of internal spread. And we are actively engaged now in procuring additional supplies, training our staff members, ensuring we have medicines, equipment, ventilators, beds, all of this in anticipation that if the model plays out the way we expect, we're going to have to see some hospitalization.
Now that we have 2 imported cases and the possibility of more imported cases, as well as the possibility of local transmission, our strategy is really aimed at containment. How do we prevent the spread? Now, there's a lot of work that is on the ground now in terms of the Public Health Department, in terms of tracing these persons. And what we want to encourage at this time is full cooperation on the part of the public. We are encouraging persons that have concerns to call the Ministry of Health at the 888 One Love number, and we will offer guidance.
So we want to reassure the country. It's time for we need to appreciate the numbers for what they are. No need to panic, just a need to be concerned and to take care as we champion this particular cause together.
Don't make diseases spread. Wash your hands with soap and water instead. Wash them regular or use a hand sanitizer. Make sure the germs them dead. Touching your eyes or your mouth or your nose. Wash your hands before you do things like those. After you use the bathroom before preparing food, come on, wash your hand them clean.
We turn our attention now to the impact of human trafficking.
Excuse me, good morning, hi.
Good morning.
You know where I can find Bullberry Road?
I really don't know anywhere around here, you know.
Oh,
I kind of just moved in, but if you want, I could ask my uncle.
Oh, it's all right then. I'll just ask somebody else. I don't want to be late. Excuse me. Good morning. Hi.
Morning, miss.
I don't know. Seems I'm at the wrong place. I'm looking for 28 Bullberry Road.
Yes.
Yes, what?
This is the place, miss.
What do you mean? I'm late for a job interview and I don't know.
Well, I'm late to miss.
That's early morning, yeah, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must be at the wrong place.
Oh, you come for the job interview, eh?
Yes, the one for the masseuse.
Come on, that's good. You'll do. Come in.
Frankie! Frankie!
My business partner, Frankie.
Good morning. You're here for the interview?
Yes.
Don't worry. We used to do these things at our establishment, but we got so many girls who didn't know what they were doing.
We just want to make sure everything turn up, you see me?
Okay, well, I worked at a spa before. I even brought my certification. So the ad wasn't specific about what you wanted.
So show us what you can do then. Pretend we're your clients.
All right, so do you have a massage table or...
It's not that kind of massage, babe. Get here!
The International Labour Organization estimates that about 20 million persons are trafficked annually across the globe. Of that, about 2 million are trafficked within the Caribbean and Latin America, the majority of whom are trafficked for the purposes of sexual exploitation. I am Francesca Tavares, and I believe that young lives matter. The film that you just watched on human trafficking may have been fictional, but it is real for someone, somewhere in Jamaica right now.
First of all, human trafficking is a criminal activity. So we have our local legislation that deals with the prosecution of all forms and types of human trafficking.
Diane Gordon Harrison is the children's advocate and national rapporteur on trafficking in persons. She ensures that human trafficking remains at the forefront of the national agenda.
What we do know is that human trafficking belongs to the family of transnational organized crime. It's always underreporting. It's clandestine, it's nefarious, but above all, very lucrative.
Deputy Superintendent Carl Berry is the head of the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Unit, the arm of the Jamaica Constabulary Force that apprehends offenders and rescues victims of human trafficking.
We have been called about situations where, for example, we have a young girl that we have been assisting for the last 3 years.
Christina Milford is the director of the Pregnancy Resource Center of Jamaica, which operates a place of safety for girls who have been victims of human trafficking and other crisis situations.
But in her situation, we knew that if she didn't get help, some man would come along, you sweet girl, you couldn't be sitting at home, let's help you. No strings attached, we'll just do this. And then in about 2 or 3 years, she'd be owned and she'd have to do whatever he required. We know this because we have seen it happening in other girls' lives.
Human trafficking is the recruiting, receiving, transporting, transferring or harboring of a person for the purpose of exploitation using specific unlawful means, such as abduction or fraud. But do many people really know what human trafficking is?
Well, I actually think human trafficking is the unlawful or illegal abduction of persons, whether male or female, from whichever age group, because there's really no limit. But usually the young ones are targeted, so I think it's the illegal abduction of individuals for whether it's like a sex trade, drug trade, or illegal work.
Human trafficking is the exploitation of human beings for the exchange of sexual activities, labor activities, or drug trade.
Human trafficking is basically, it's just I say that in Jamaica, that people end up in a situation where they get leaders tree and some of them will get taken away.
Every year, Jamaica is ranked in its efforts to combat human trafficking. In 2005, Jamaica moved from Tier 3, the lowest rank, to Tier 2. However, since then, our ranking has remained the same, meaning that, as a country, we still do not meet the minimum requirements to address human trafficking, despite significant improvements in recent years.
We also have to realize that there are those who will target our children. There are predators whose only job is to stand and seek out, look for the weak one.
If you know or suspect that someone is a victim of human trafficking, please call 188-PROTECT for victims under the age of 18 years, or 311 for victims over 18 years. You may also call the TIP unit at 967-1389 or email tip.ocid@jcf.gov.jm.
You can watch part 2 of this interesting documentary in tomorrow's program. Up next, youngsters expressing their passion for agriculture, specifically beekeeping.
Me and my sister got started when we were very young. I think I was 6 or something around that age. And my mom had 4 hives. And that is the beginning of success.
The name of our family business is Maccabee Enterprise. Here at Maccabee Enterprise, we are all beekeepers, down to my 9-year-old sister, Camila.
Working with the bees is nice. It's less challenging than back in the days. Don't want to sound too old. It is fun now. I am more confident. Yeah. It is calming, soothing. Takes you out of this world, bring in another. So it's fun. It's actually fun. My role here on the farm is using an extractor to extract honey. There are many ways. I will be explaining 2 ways. First is the professional method where you use an extractor. So you have a capping knife, a knife with like a serrated edge, and you would uncap, which is a thin sheet of wax on top of the comb with the honey inside. So it's like a seal. So you use a knife and uncap that. Then you put it in the extractor and spin it, and it would flash out on the side of the extractor and drain to the bottom, and then you leak it out into a bucket. The other way is, well, when you don't have an extractor, is that you would use a capping fork, or you could use a regular fork, and you would hold the frame like this, long way, and you'd use the fork and gently scrape the frame. So you're taking off the comb, you're removing the comb from the frame in a sense, but you'd have on the frame there is a sheet of wax that we would put on as beekeepers, foundation. So it would guide the bees, to build more small cells that would get more workers in the hive.
From the bees, we get 5 main products, right? We have pollen, propolis, beeswax, honey, and royal jelly. So based on those 5 things, we actually think about what we can do with those 5 things. So in beekeeping, we actually have honey flow periods and we have dirt season. Those are the 2 main periods. In between, we have like a pre-flow and pre-dirt, basically. But okay, so in our honey season, that's the time when they're on production. They're bringing in their honey, their pollen, everything up on top. But for like in St. Thomas, there's like a 6-month period where there's dirt. There's no honey, no much honey that we can reap. There's just enough for them to feed themselves and their babies and be able to stay alive. In the dirt period, when there's not enough honey for us to harvest and be able to sell, we do things like remove our old combs and boil it out, and we get wax. With the wax, we do like the body butters, we do candles, lip conditioner. So that's the wax. With the pollen, we actually collect the pollen, and the pollen is a very good multivitamins. So we actually collect the pollen and dry it and package it for sale. For the royal jelly, we don't do a lot of work with the royal jelly. As we go along, we are actually developing products. So for the royal jelly right now, we put it in our honey wine. And then again, the honey wine is made from honey. My involvement in making the byproducts are production. I do most of the labels. I have help, so I can't take all the credit, but most of the labels are from me. I do social media marketing, so most of the WhatsApp texts, Instagram, they might mostly refer me. My younger siblings' involvement in the business is some help with the production. So there is some small things like shredding the wax that they can do. They help with the bees as well because we're homeschool and we kind of tag along with our parents right through and through. So with the bees and with production. And my younger sister, she's very artistic. So when I'm actually doing the labels, sometimes she would draw this beautiful picture and I would actually use that as part of the label.
I have 4 personal hives for myself. I have 3 long struts, which is the regular kind of box that you would see that holds 10 frame and they would stack on one on top of the other. And I have 1 top bar, which is a 30 frame box, which goes a long way. And it only has a top bar. It doesn't have the top bar with the square. It doesn't have a frame. It's just the top bar. My advice to other youth interested in beekeeping is you have to be persistent, and you have to be confident, and you have to be committed to beekeeping.
Beekeeping can be very wide. You don't have to just stuck with the bees, the sting, the honey. There is so much more that you can do. You can do candles. There is actually a shortage of beeswax candles. And beeswax candles are very easy. You mold, you wick, your color if you need, and you're done. Lip conditioner is another easy one. And if you go online, just take some of your time out of your texting and just research some products that you can actually do from the products that you get from the bees. The 5 products I mentioned, there's so much more.
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.